The Free Methodist Church has a long and glorious history since its founding in 1860. With its focus on loving God and serving local communities, it's no wonder that the Free Methodist Church is one of the strongest Wesleyan denominations in the entire world. You've probably been directed to watch this video by a pastor or church leader who sees some leadership potential in you, but you have some questions about what exactly it means to be ordained in the Free Methodist Church. So you feel called into full-time ministry. What does that even mean? Maybe you don't feel called as a full-time pastor. Is that all right too? What exactly are the different paths of ordination? Which one should you choose? And what are the requirements of each? I'm Ben Dial, the assistant pastor at Cascade View Free Methodist Church, and I will be helping clear the waters of the different ministry options that you have and how you can get involved in the Free Methodist Church to serve God and serve your community.
So ordination is really the setting apart of people who feel called to pastoral ministry.
The Free Methodist Church desires to produce godly, competent leaders. These men and women are biblical, visionary thinkers, fully grounded in Christ. They are passionately empowered by holy hearts that are consumed by love for God and neighbor. And they are incarnationally engaged in making disciples of Jesus who positively impact the world.
So when somebody says that they're called to ministry, then to me that looks like several things. And actually we have a few different processes for that. There's a discernment process for that call to see what that actually looks like, how that plays out in real life, what the function and focus of that calling is. And then also, besides the discernment space, there's the activity, the gifts and graces of how well fitted are they, how mature are they in that process. And then that calling, they're really hearing from the Lord and living into that within those gifts, graces, activity, the movement toward that vocational calling, rather than just a calling to be a disciple or a follower of Jesus. It's a calling to live and serve in some more formalized capacity in ministry.
There are 3 steps to ordination: discernment, development, and deployment. Discernment is the first step.
If someone is looking to go into ministry in that formalized way through ordination, then what's really important for them is to have gone through a discernment process locally in their church, as a member of a local church, but then also really exploring that with mentoring and then even the education process. So there's a whole educational piece of receiving Wesleyan theology and practice, and then also history and polity of the Free Methodist Church. Those things are part of the process of ordination, but they're really helpful components, along with mentoring, a peer network, to explore and to really determine if they're a great fit for the Free Methodist Church in the way of ordination, and if the Free Methodist Church is a right fit for them in being ordained and living that calling out.
This step in the process could take years, and it's something that you do within your local community, with your peers, your pastor. At the end of the discernment process is the decision, and you decide whether you go on to be ordained as an elder or to serve as a deacon in the church. A deacon doesn't have some of the more rigorous requirements, such as seminary or higher education, that eldership does. But it's no less important to the function of the community of the Free Methodist Church. And once you make this decision, that's when you enter into the development stage.
So there's multiple ways to go about the process of ordination. So there's more of a traditional model would be through seminary. So one way is that someone who felt a call to ministry, they would go through the experience while receiving education through a Master's of Divinity program traditionally. Another way that people who are in the ordination process or exploring ministry might pursue ordination would be through what we call an Apollos model. And usually those are people who have a good, strong track record for ministry somewhere else. So you can go through the Apollos model in the way of approaching ministry as maybe a second career, or if you have a wealth of ministry outside of the denomination of the Free Methodist Church. And there's still educational components of that, but it's also taking into consideration the previous experience and giftedness that's already been established. Another way that people go about being ordained is through a correspondence coursework and a continuing education, to where they're gathering several different courses that they're taking while, again, receiving that experience through mentoring and working in ministry in a local context in their church community. So if someone is considering ordination, they should talk with their local pastor or mentor in their church, someone who already has maybe gone through that process, and then they can discover alongside them if that's a good fit for them. A lot of times if someone is curious about ordination, it usually is spoken to them that, have you thought about this? And someone will see that in them. They'll see that drive or that calling or that potential there, and they'll call it out and then say, hey, have you thought about this? Usually that's going to be a good person for them to talk with. One of the pastors of the local church would be a great fit for that.
Remember, the ordination process is only a small part of what ministry is all about in the Free Methodist Church. The ability to build your ministry, identify infrastructural issues, and deal with conflicts is essential to a successful long-term ministry. And I am currently developing a ministry toolbox with resources that you can use to help accomplish the goals of ministry. It will include things such as what you need to be an effective ministry leader, including planning, organization, and where to go for help. It will also include aspects of the ministry team, including analyzing strengths and weaknesses, how to be a team player, skills versus spiritual gifts, and dealing with pastoral burnout. I will also be dealing with aspects of the community, such as how to be aware of the area you are in, and survey for demographics, and plan for the years, but be ready for today. This resource is still under development, so please subscribe to this YouTube channel so you'll be notified as soon as it becomes available. Thank you for watching, and God bless you in your ministry in the Free Methodist Church.